Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, everything really. My guest is on a very, I would say, a mega hit. This is a series that debuted on in May on YouTube Red. This was Cobra Kai. This was a spin-off sequel of the Karate Kid. So we're with Joe Seo, who played Kyler, one of the bullies. So Joe, welcome to Popternative.
Hi, I'm glad to be here, and thanks for the invite, Peter.
No problem, no problem. So we talked about it a little bit before we started record. The reception has been incredible.
Yes.
So fantastic. Congrats on that. Before we get into that, how did the role come to be? Like, did you expect when you who did you audition for? Because we hear all these stories about people going to audition for a couple of roles. Did you audition for Kyler?
I specifically auditioned for Kyler, and it was a role. It seemed like a really fun role to play. I haven't played a villain before, so it's actually pretty refreshing. When I got into the audition room, I just kind of let myself free of like what this character would feel like, how this character would, like where he would be coming from, like where all this angst and everything would be coming from. So it was fun to explore all that and definitely perform it on screen. So
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I remember seeing, the trailers and the announcements for this series, and I was very excited because I loved The Karate Kid growing up. It was one of my favorite movies. So I was excited. But it worked. There's so many, like the writing was strong. There was like comedy, there was drama. It was amazing. So like, were you guys expecting that a fantastic reception? Like 15 million views on like the first episode, I believe. Like, it's insane.
No, we weren't expecting anything that extraordinary at all. But from the creator, from what I read on the script, from the sides, even through the audition, like, the sides from the audition, I was just like, this writing is great. Like, it's fun. It's fast paced. So I did feel like it would be a hit, but not this huge mega thing that's, just paving way of, so to me, it's impressive. It's amazing. It's a blessing. And all props go to the creators, John, Josh, Hayden. They're just amazing people that that thought of all this, and they were fans of the movie, and they were just like, I think, just relishing this moment to actually present this pilot.
Absolutely.
It took them a while.
For sure. For people that don't know about Cobra Kai, can you talk a little bit about the series from the perspective of your character? Because Kyler is a bully in the school that ends up, dating Daniel LaRusso's daughter, and ends up being kind of the villain. But for people that don't know about it, talk a little bit about your character and explain the show a little bit.
Well, the character of Kyler in this series is, I think it's almost like another reincarnation of Johnny in the movie. And to me, that was a great honor, first of all. Number two, like, it was just, I wanted to raise hell. I wanted to give Miguel like the hardest time, and everything. And hopefully I accomplished that. I think there's a few people that like cursed at me all through Instagram saying "fuck you" and all this stuff. Can I say that? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Okay. But like, I was just dropping F-bombs and everything. So I think, I did make an impression that I was a douche, a bad guy.
You did. When you
get, it's like the biggest compliment. Huh? What was that?
So when you get that reception, you played the character right.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, that was a compliment for people to be cursing at me and hating me. So it's been fun. What else?
He likes fish
Yeah,
sticks.
yeah, the group Cobra Kai to Kyler, it's it's a group that I always did not like because I kind of thought they were a bunch of dorks and yeah, they don't deserve to have any spotlight, to Kyler, and they don't deserve to uh, be cool or anything because yeah, they don't know anything about being cool. So, anyways, that's Kyler's perspective, but to Kyler, like I feel like as the story progresses, he has moments where like, oh yeah, like I need to step away from these guys that could really kick my ass now, like I just so that change is completely yeah, it's real, and we'll see how this character yeah goes forth. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see Kyler more in season 2. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. I mean, the one thing I loved about the show, Joe, is there's Miguel and Johnny's son. What was the
Yes,
character?
Robbie.
And Robbie. So basically, what I find very interesting with Strong is what they did with a lot of the characters is you kind of they didn't it what nothing was set in stone. For example,
Absolutely.
Miguel and Robbie have moments where you're watching the show and you like Miguel and you don't like
Mhm,
Robbie. But then there's
mhm.
some aspects of it where you like Robbie and you don't like Miguel. It's very interesting.
And
What do you think of that about that aspect of the show?
I think that just kind of testifies to the brilliance in the writing of all three of our creators, and it just brings out the human aspect of every character, no matter if it's a bad guy, good guy, or some crazy guy. They all come from a family. It had to have come from some type of family or some type of upbringing, and each person has their story, and to write something like this, it leaves it well for them. I thought it was brilliant for them to leave it kind of open ended, so that these characters can flourish and see why these people are the way they are. And to me, that would be interesting.
But like a curveball is thrown because you kind of think that Kyler is gonna be like in the tournament maybe because they're setting it up like you're introduced as the
Right,
bully and then a
right,
curveball is thrown where Robbie is in the fold.
right. And that's what makes this series so interesting, and that's why people are so like anticipating so much for season two, because there's so much more that could happen, and there's so many more elements that they throw in all the time. So we'll see where it goes.
What do you want to happen to Kyler in season 2 if you kind of had your say?
I do want to step up with a different type of martial art so that it could add like a different aspect to this. Like for instance, if because I feel like Kyler would be going into something else like MMA, because he does wrestling. So it's like a smoother transition that way. And for him to not know, like just be like karate. Who the hell does karate? Karate's so stupid. For him to like kind of like touch upon karate, I feel like would be something that he would be against, and like it'll like demolish his pride to go into karate. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
we'll see where they do take Tyler's character, but for me, I feel like to add like another foil to like especially nowadays, it's a lot of MMA that is being popularized. So
Oh, 100%.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they'll do it, but it seems fun. It'll be fun no
Oh,
matter what.
for sure, for sure. And I find, and this will come to my question about the original Karate Kid. But I think my favorite part of the show, and I've seen other interviews with William Zabka and Ralph Macchio talking about. I think the best part is when Johnny Lawrence is explaining to Miguel about the beef between him and Danny LaRusso, and they're
Hmm.
going back and they're talking, and the way he brings it up, the way his side of the story is like Danny was not being bullied and like we were just minding our own business and he sucker punched me and then he brought his karate master after us. Like I thought, like it was just such a good homage to the show. Like me and my parents were like,
Yeah, even on this show, in Kyler's sense, Miguel's the one that started it. We were just in the liquor store trying to buy beer, but he had to go and snitch and just ruin our night. Why did he have to do that? I don't know.
it's just so.
And he's trying to step on my. He's trying to take my girl too. So in that sense, it just pays. It just goes full circle.
It
We'll
does.
see.
It's amazing. But so did you like? Maybe you can't speak for all the cast, but did people like? Were you a fan? Were you aware of the Karate Kid before going into this? Like, were a lot of people? I mean, a lot of you, might not have been. A lot of the actors maybe weren't even born or were just very young when it first came out.
Yeah.
But what was kind of the reception of that?
We definitely had to we like a lot of people rewatched it or watched it for the first time. Yeah, and then we just saw that it was so funny how it kind of correlated to this script that we had now, So I was like, we were just like amazed, and it was just weird seeing like Mr. LaRusso and Billy like now compared to like 20, 30 years then, and it's just funny, but like it's weird because they look the same and their voices are the same. It's just like they got a little older, and to us that was just kind of crazy. And to see these mega stars, these legends in their in this field, and just to see how humble they were, it's just really cool.
Every time you work on a project, there's always going to be learning experiences, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV show. You're always going to go in there, whether you're a young up-and-coming actor, whether you've been doing it for a long time. There's always going to be learning experiences. What were some of the learning experiences that you took away from working on Cobra Kai?
Right. Well, for me, a lot of the times, when I see these guys that have been in the game for a long time, like Billy and Daniel, like how they right after their respective scenes, they kind of go into their trailer, and I think there's a reason why they do that instead of like just conversing with other people, doing all that. It's just I feel like they need to be focused on like how their character is gonna be for the rest of the shoot, and for someone like myself who are a bit younger. Was a lot younger, and for us to like, we don't know too much about that. We try to converse, we try to have a good time, like when things kind of we tend to stray away from our characters sometimes, and to jump right back into scene and become a character is somewhat tough, especially like I'm a bad guy in this, so when I can't be a bad guy off screen, or I don't like to be a bad guy off screen.
No,
So
for
it's
sure.
tough for me to like just go switch back and forth unless I was like, just playing, which was crazy, which if I was crazy or something. But I thought there was definitely a reason why they do so. They go back into trailers and focus, and I feel like that's something that I could take away. Definitely try to focus a little bit more, or like a little bit have more time to focus and then jump into scene. Yeah, those are things that I've kind of picked up. I was like, okay, and I understood why.
No, absolutely. Well, Joe, I think we'll wrap up. But first off, congrats for the success with Cobra Kai. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we hope to see Kyler kick some butt in season 2.
We'll see.
Where could people follow you on social media?
Oh, JoeSeo, my name, Joe Seo, or SEONOOPY. Got two, and try to go back and forth. We'll see.
And what else besides Cobra Kai have you been working on or promoting that people could check out?
There's a couple of movies that are on Netflix now. One's called Spawn Night that I've done, and the other one is called Message from the King, which is also on. It's with Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther. So that one's actually a really great movie as well, and they're both on Netflix. So definitely people can check it out at any convenience.
Awesome, very cool. Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Well,
You as well.
Well, this has been Popternative. You can catch previous episodes Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for the video, Spotify, iTunes, Libsyn, Podbean for the audio. Be sure to check Cobra Kai on YouTube Red. Season 1 is available now. Fantastic. You can see Joe being a villain. It's a good time. Until next time, this is Joe Seo and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.